morning and welcome to this brand new edition of the newspaper show right here on ET Now. I'm Cheryl D'Souza and I'll take you through the top headlines and the stories that's there in the Economic Times. So let's get going with the top 10 headlines that's there in the newspaper this morning. And first up, Supreme Court gives telecom companies 10 years to pay off the AGR dues. The telecom companies consider filing a curative petition. Vodafone Idea needs to quickly raise $3 to $4 billion. Manufacturing PMI at post-lockdown high. August passenger vehicle sales in the fast lane. You have GST collection at 88% of August 2019 level. Government to Supreme Court that they're saying that they have opposed to a blanket interest waiver. NREGS demand slips. Signals rise in general jobs. Frame country-specific norms is the word coming in from Ravi Shankar Prasad to Facebook. And no bidders for India cricket kit sponsorship. All right, and those are the top headlines that's there in the Economic Times. But let me get going with the top 5 headlines that's there in the market headlines that's there in the Economic Times. First up, 4 Franklin schemes hit by payment defaults. Bond yields plunge, Rupee logs big gains. You have JP Morgan questions valuation of Siemens India's MD's business. Care Health may be first Care Health may be first health cover firm to list. NBFCs get cheaper funds from special scheme. From market now on to corporate headlines. August PV sales accelerate in double digits. Telecom companies may hike tariff by 10%. Reliance to pip Tesco in retail space. HUL Dabur switch from China to local sourcing. And lastly, emphasis to hire 12,000 hands in the United States over the next 2 years. And those are the top headlines that's there in the Economic Times for you this morning. But let's get going with the top story that's there in the newspaper, and that is about the telecom companies. This is after the Supreme Court verdict on the AGR dues. The telecom companies consider filing a curative petition. Also, reduction in the amount is preferable to extending the timeline. Vodafone Idea needs to quickly raise at least $3 to $4 billion. The struggling telecom company is close to tying up funding now that it has clarity on the AGR payment timeline. So that's what is coming out of post the Supreme Court AGR verdict. Analysts are upbeat about telecoms companies' ability to access funds. Mukul Rohatgi has declined to comment if Vodafone Idea would file a review. Some actually go on to say that the reduction in amount preferable to the extended timeline. So this is what is the analysts and the experts are saying on the Supreme Court AGR verdict, and that's the story that's there in the Economic Times this morning. But let's get going with another story, and that is some August economic data brings cheer. Demand for car, fuel, power are rising. Mobility indices, rail freight show improvement, and my colleague Vinny is here to take us through all those details. Vinny, tell us which are the ones and which are the data that are signaling some cheer for us.
So, Cheryl, if you're going to see in August 1st, a couple of days back, we spoke about retail also showing some better signs of improvement. Now, overall, our economic data, if you're going to see, is also showing some signs of cheer in terms of demand for car, fuel, power rise, mobility indices, railway freight are showing signs of improvement. So surely we are on a road to recovery is what it seems like. Now, if you look at the indicator, that is the Purchasing Manager Index for manufacturing, as well as the Nomura's Business Resumption Index, that is also hitting a post-lockdown high. So clear indications that we are on a road to recovery as of now. There are other indicators, like I mentioned before, are also showing signs of recovery. Goods and service tax collections were, a bit tepid, but overall the other indicators like car fuel, power is showing improvement over there. Now let's talk about quickly what is seen an improvement. If you go to see the manufacturing PMI is at a 6-month high in August at 52. Nomura's business resumption index is also at a post-lockdown high. August power consumption is almost at last year's level. So surely we are reaching pre-COVID levels or reaching new highs. Car sales are also have risen sharply. If you see the auto sales numbers also, they've been quite good in the month of August on a year, compared to a year ago. Mobility indices for and petrol consumption also has risen. So surely great signs of improvement that we are seeing over here. But there are some mixed signals if you go to see on the railway freight front. In August it was up compared to last year, but it's down from July. So on a year-on-year basis it's up, but from on a month-on-month basis it's seen a decline. So surely we're going to keep an eye out for that. But GST collection, like I mentioned, is declined 1% from July. So that is something, these are all mixed signals that are showing, but overall most of them are indicating towards a road to recovery. So surely we'll keep an eye out for them, and that is some positive cheer surely over there.
Definitely, Vinny, we'll definitely watch out for those that we are seeing in these economic indicators. Let's on to franking fund schemes. And 4 shut Franklin fund schemes hit by payment defaults. Again, Franklin Templeton MF schemes face defaults and payments by Reverse Trade Ventures, a future group company which was due on August 31st. My colleague Jayesh is here to take us all through the details. Jayesh, good morning, and take us through the story that's there in the Economic Times this morning on Franklin Templeton.
Good morning, sir. Rightly mentioned by you that 4 of the 6 short schemes of Franklin Templeton Mutual Fund, their NAVs have fallen excess of 6% after a company called as Reverse Trade Ventures, which is a future group firm, has defaulted on its scheduled debt obligation due on 31st of August. Now, the 4 schemes that we are referring to is the Franklin India Income Opportunities Fund. The NAV fell by 6.3%. The Franklin India Short-Term Income Plan, that NAV fell by more than 5%. The Franklin India Dynamic Accrual Fund, the NAV fell by more than 3%. And lastly, you had the Franklin India Credit Risk Fund, the NAV, which was actually, fell by about 0.3%. Now, what had happened was on 29th of August, Reliance Retail actually announced the acquisition of the retail and wholesale business and the entire logistics chain and warehousing business of the future group on a slump sale basis for an aggregate amount which was about 24,713 crores. What Franklin has said in a note to its investors is that based on the deal that has been announced from the future group and Reliance Retail, we understand that the NCDs held by the fund house are proposed to be repaid from the proceeds of the transaction. So we will have to wait and watch as and when that happens, because the deal has yet been announced and it is subject to regulatory and various other approvals. So till then, they will have to reduce the value of these investments down to zero. So that's the hit that Franklin Mutual Fund has taken in 4 of the short schemes that were there.
All right, Jayesh, thank you for taking us through that story. And let's shift focus now to the auto companies. And yesterday they reported the auto sales numbers, and the August PV sales have accelerated in the double digits as steady retail demand and soft supply chain helps the automakers produce and dispatch more vehicles in the month of August. Remember, April was a complete washout coming in for these auto companies, and look at the way how from there on they are actually now slowly and steadily rising. And in August, you have the passenger vehicles that have actually accelerated and logged in double-digit growth. Also, commercial vehicle companies they've continued to report lower sales compared to a year ago. If you see August passenger vehicle sales, like I mentioned, is in strong double digits. This is the first time in approximately 2 years. The CV companies continue to report lower sales on a year-on-year basis. Numbers are actually buoyed by Maruti as well as Hyundai's performance. Yesterday they released their August auto sales numbers. So far, Looks like a pretty picture coming in from the auto companies, at least this time around, unlike the previous month, with the passenger vehicles accelerating. Yes, CV is still slow, still growing on a slow pace compared to a year-on-year basis. The passenger vehicles there logging in double-digit growth, and this is first time in approximately 2 years. Let's shift focus now on to the top 5 headlines as there in the Times of India this morning. And first up, it is new COVID infections top 80,000 once again. Yes, small cars spark auto sector growth. Army foils fresh action by PLA. ONGC net profit dives 92% on oil price crash. And petrol demand at 92% of a year ago period.